understanding, and I have minutes from the subcommittee that dealt with the outside agencies, was that all of them were approved, and there was no vote by the subcommittee to level fund this agency.
No, it was done by the delegation here. No, it was, subcommittees only make recommendations to this delegation, and which when that occurred, that was brought up. I brought it up and I made the motion. We discussed it then.
Thank you. Additional discussion. Motion on the floor is to adjust the line item which deals with the Lakes Region Mutual Aid, and it is account number in the budget of 014660 55015, adjusted to the amount of $554,037, which would be an increase of, if I have the numbers correct, $20,574. Okay. So the motion is on the floor. That has been seconded. We've had discussion. Mr. Clerk, would you?
Once again, I think that the commissioners have some insight into this, and I'd like to hear what they have to say.
Thank you. There is a motion on the floor, and we have had a significant amount of discussion on this. One input, and then we will call the roll. Yes.
This whole Lakes Region Mutual firing budget is established by their board of directors. Their board of directors is made up of the fire chiefs of each town. They bring it forward to us. Again, if I'm not mistaken, it is passed on to each one of the towns. We cannot adjust that. We cannot adjust that budget. It isn't ours, it's in statute. So once it's passed on to the towns, even though it's billed differently to each individual town in the county as opposed to the towns outside of the county, it is done on the same basis that we do all of it. It is by the assessed valuation of each town. Three factors. But it would be impossible for us to a la carte each individual town. It would be absolutely impossible to do that. And that is why we assess the towns of Delaware County by the method of which we assess everything, the nursing home, everything. It's the same assessment.
Thank you for that input. Any additional? Okay. Representative Fields, would you kindly call the roll?
Representative Russell?
Yes.
Representative Burchill?
No.
Representative Comfils?
No.
Representative Goya?
No.
Representative DiMartino?
Yes.
Representative Fields, yes. Representative Fink?
No.
Representative Flanders, absent.
Oh.
Pardon? Did I miss you?
No.
Not yet.
I haven't got to you yet. You want me to take you now and then? Representative Greenmore?
No.
Representative Ruth Gurley?
Yes.
Okay, Representative Holmes?
No.
Representative Hewitt?
Yes.
Representative Luther?
No.
Representative Raymond?
Yes.
Representative Silver?
No.
Representative Tilton?
No.
Representative Varney?
No.
Representative Worsman?
No.
Motion fails. 11-6, one absent.
Okay. We are back to the original motion, which is to approve the budget as was outlined by Rep. Tilton.
Okay, hold on, I got your number.
Do we want to repeat your motion, or do we think we all understand the motion?
Good as well.
Okay.
You got it right on your sheets.
Okay. Yes, Deb.
I just
this is really just a numbers thing, but if I understood the motion correctly, and I'm just talking about the total expense number, was 26,132 something?
615.
All right, and I just want to clarify that that's not the number that has been posted on the website and distributed to all of you. So, and the difference is the 52,000 for the corrections officer. So I just want to make sure before everyone votes that everybody sitting here understands that you're reducing it by $52,000 more than what the public has seen.
That is the number that was, the 52,000 is, the number was on the list that the commissioners gave us for their revision. And when we went down the list, I went down the list, I made the comment, we've already included it, because it was on the printout that we got from the county administrator at that time. Their column and our column. Our numbers were not precisely 52,000, and spent a lot of time finding the difference. But they were within a few, I think $4,000. So we said, okay, we'll stay with the commissioner on that item. But it wasn't on the list that we made the motions on that night to adjust, because it was I carried it among the items that were on that list that had already been incorporated. So our intent on that time it was, but the administrator has pointed out it was not in any of the minutes. We didn't specifically vote on that.
Right,
So yes, that's the one item that deviates from the last number we talked about, I guess a week ago. It's just recapturing what we thought we were doing the previous meeting.
Thank you for that input.
Can I
Yes.
ask why was it not included? Why was the 52,000 not included?
I thought it already had been, so I didn't make the motion. And the administrator, going through the minutes, checked off the ones we did make a motion and vote to change, you know, the big printout, and discovered that that one was one that hadn't been. And she was kind enough to point out that to us, that we had thought we had done it, but hadn't.
So the motion on the floor is, just for clarification, the motion on the floor is to put into the budget those things that we have previously voted on. And since that transition from a part-time to a full-time was not voted on to increase the budget by that amount, the amount, if I understand correctly, does not include that, as we've never voted on
Yeah, well,
increasing that.
my motion tonight does include it. It's 52,000 more than the last printout that we all saw.
Thank you.
And that line does coincide with the printout we saw about 3 meetings ago.
Thank you. Additional income time.
Yeah, maybe Debbie Shacker could.
Well, wait a minute. I have a comment from the delegations first. Yes, please.
Yeah, I just want to know before we do this budget, have the wages and salaries of the employees been put back in or not?
Yes, Deb.
I just want to, it's difficult to watch knowing that there's at least 6 members of the delegation that don't know how that number came about. And that 52,000 was not, it was approved by the subcommittee. The Public Safety Subcommittee intended to fund that new officer. And then it was taken out. And it was taken out by our mistake. It was taken out when you level funded wages. We level funded those wages and took that position out. And so the last, I think the full delegation heard, that position was being funded. And in the past week, I've explained to you and apparently Frank that that position was our mistake. It's not included in your number, and we were asking that you put it in based on your subcommittee's recommendation. So now, not only are you not putting it in, but you have reduced the number another $52,000. So it's been taken out twice now. And I just want everyone, I think it's fair for you to have a discussion amongst yourselves about that, unless nobody wants to.
I might, the two figures, the difference is 79,191, and if you minus out the 25,779, which is the merit cost for the corrections, the difference is the 52. So let me see it in there once.
May I?
Yes, please.
Elaborating on Deborah's point about that the subcommittee recommended it to be funded. Then the subcommittee also recommended that all wages be level funded at the 2012 level. So the subcommittee column, when it was created for the Department of Corrections, removed any new positions. When that figure was carried forward to the delegation, it did not have any funding in there for a new position. Your budget that you created, when I compared the two, was off $52,000 because your budget has it out twice. You took the subcommittee figure where it was not in there, moved to your column, deducted $52,000. That's why these two budgets are off $52,000. So the document that was published on the website and distributed to all of the delegates for $26,184,000, I believe it is, does not have a corrections part-time to full-time position, and if anything, needs that position added back in accordance with Representative Tilton's subcommittee when he approved that position. That's how the documents are.
Aside from the subcommittee, as this full committee has changed the budget as in collective votes, in your amount of I'm looking on the commissioner's budget, and we would be on page
17, correction.
Thank you. Okay. The delegations vote. The delegations recommendation was level funding that to, as I recall the vote, it was to level fund salaries and wages in the corrections department, not including any changes from part-time to full-time.
It was to level fund wages at the 2012 level. So if there was an error made, that is the error that I made when I took that assumption and applied that 2012 wages to the subcommittee recommendation. And I eliminated that position because I followed the motion as I heard it was to level fund. So to me, that meant the position was out. As you look back through the minutes, that was definitely an error that I made. So that position was taken out and moved at that level.
The approved minutes show.
Okay, wait.
We wanted
Let's,
it.
if I can finish with the accounting part of it.
Croc TV.